Hello everyone. Let me begin with a quote from John O'Donoghue. He was a priest and a poet. Behind your image, below your words, above your thoughts, the silence of another world awaits. And that's in a book called Anam Cara, A-N-A-M, and then Cara, C-A-R-A, a book of Celtic wisdom. So this is the first day of our more deeply enforced isolation in the UK after the announcement from the Prime Minister yesterday. And I've heard some amazing stories this past week with the isolation that we had to go into about what God was doing and connecting with church and friends and family, and some really precious and special connections and things God was doing. And yet I suspect, if you haven't had it already, that last night has definitely precipitated for some of us the manifestations of some stronger emotions, the emotional overload, talking with some of you, family conflicts taking place, the pressure of having to process this on our own and with other people, and the emotional overload. And both dynamics are going to be true. There are amazing things that the Lord wants to do with us and connect with us, and then there are going to be all these things that we're going to be facing and having to confront and deal with ourselves and relatives and other people, and they're not separate from each other. The Lord wants to do both those things together with us. Some of us are literally alone at home and face the prospect of that, especially if we're vulnerable. And we think of you especially and know that you're not alone and want to be in contact with you. And then some of us are facing the dynamic. We are in homes with other people, but we are still feeling a deep sense of loneliness. Loneliness is not always about proximity to other people. It's about connection to ourselves and others. So you might not be alone in your isolation, but you might be suffering a deep sense of being alone. So our privacy is being invaded, proximity is being forced upon us, intimacy removed from us. And all of those things are incredibly stressful and trying for us. So I want to offer a couple of bits of advice. First one's a really practical one. There was something on a website. There's a guy, a submariner, who survived under the sea. I think he went about 100 and managed to, on one of his on his tours, the duty that he was doing, had to spend 159 days under the sea in a submarine without ever seeing land. And the only private space was his bunk bed, and he had to face a great deal of isolation whilst in proximity to others. So some really practical things. You can Google him, but just Google Submariner and the coronavirus. He said exercise every day, even if it's 20 minutes, get some stuff on YouTube, do something to move your body. Second thing, find some space and time for yourself. If you need to, get a rotor for the TV or screens in your house where you're going to be uninterrupted and watch whatever you need to and want to. Eat well. Now's the time to plan your food. Clean and tidy your rooms. It's really important that you have a space and it's tidy, and that gives you a sense of agency and control. Make your bed. Make your bed. Lots of psychologists tell us making your bed is important. Keep where you're living tidy. It will give you a sense of some control and order. Unplug. Now, this one may sound strange, but in isolation, the temptation can be to stream and binge bad news continually. I've had to turn the TV off from the news. There's only so many news cycles I can listen to, and you just need a few things in the day to keep an update. So take that out, because that will just reinforce your sense of isolation and loneliness. And instead connect, put good things into you. Friends, family, have some distractions, but, read some good books and listen to some great podcasts and watch some Christian videos and stuff. And we're sending out more and more resources to you. And we're going to be sending a lot out. Remember, I talked about our moving from adjustment to investment phase. So, and have others that join in with you and cheer you along and cheer you up. So final thought is about the practical. How do we deal with all this stuff that comes in us? Things that we might normally hide from, being busy. So many of us are going to find we've been able to be busy for too long. Now is not the time to isolate from yourself either. As stuff comes up, you're going to be faced with yourself. And some of us maybe have not been very good at that or done that. And one of the ways that quote from John O'Donoghue, that the silence of your inner world waits for you. And Jesus is there and he's ready to be a companion to you. So journal, write things, verbally process with people you love and trust, get some coaching, have people pray for you. We can do all of these things and more on our own and virtually with others. And we're going to be, as I've been promising, getting some resources and ways to connect with you so that you can do this together in your isolation and for yourself. So bless you, love you, and look forward to speaking to you again soon. Bye, guys.